I'm happy to report that the soil for my beds is being delivered as we speak. And if you just saw the gentleman in the back who's the owner of DJK Landscaping, y'all, if you're local, excellent company, do all my yard work and all kinds of things for me. They are moving all of those wood chips out behind, well, you can't even see it, but out behind the little shed that I have in back. So that saved my back a lot. And I can work on today's harvest. Stay tuned. Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader, where we are going to work on the Every Bit Counts Challenge. I've done a few things this week that I did not film, but one of the things I did was I freeze-dried some of my gorgeous yellow tomatoes. And you may be wondering, well, how do you plan to use them? Because the texture comes out somewhat like styrofoam, that lightweight. These are excellent if you rehydrate them in, say, Italian dressing, or, your favorite oil and vinegar type dressing, and then put them on a pizza. You can go ahead and layer them in your lasagna. They'll rehydrate from the sauce. There are just so many uses, or you can just plain rehydrate them and eat them. But I love having these. So that was one thing I did. And I'm also doing some freeze drying for my chicken supplier lady. So I did 6 pounds of ground beef for her. So that kind of put me behind. So let's get caught up. This morning I did some harvesting, and oh my word, y'all. Yeah, I got a little bit of stuff. But first, I want to try something. And I got this idea, here's my jar, from Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead, who is the originator, the founder of this challenge. She has a child that has an anaphylactic allergy to dairy and eggs. I think those are the only two things, but I mean, wow, what a challenge, right? So they're always looking for a cheese substitute, and she made this, and I actually did some research on it, to make sure I was comfortable, pardon me, hiccups, with the process, and I am. I think it's quite safe, but it's actually a delicacy, and that is to salt cure egg yolks. And once they're cured, you can grate them just like cheese. So anything you would use, say, a Parmesan cheese on, so you could put it on pasta, you could put it on salad, you could put it on asparagus. I love Parmesan cheese on asparagus. So let me show you how she did it. So what I have in this little container, and I'm doing it on a very small scale, y'all, because it's just me. And if it turns out really well, then I will do some perhaps for my son as well. So what I have in here is pink Himalayan salt. Now, I will tell you, pink Himalayan salt, because it does not have all the additives and the anti-clumping agents, you're going to get some clumps in your salt. So I've tried to break the majority of them up, but I have a nice thick layer because the salt is actually going to draw the moisture out of the yolk and cure it. But I don't want to waste. Oh, we'll see if we can hit the jar, right? So I've just washed up some farm fresh eggs from my ladies. And for the whites, I can use those for all sorts of things. You can add it in baking, and you do not want to break your yolk. So there you go. Let me bring you closer here. We just have a nice, beautiful egg yolk. And we feed those back to the chickens because why? Say it with me, every bit counts. Y'all, I am so thrilled to not have to do all that wheelbarrowing of all those wood chips. You know what? I think 3. You stay there. I might be able to get 4 in here. I don't want to crowd them though. Let's use this bigger egg. Oh, such a pretty yolk. It's no yolk. Okay, that was just like a really bad joke. I hope I don't start doing chicken jokes. Okay. Can I scoot? Will you scoot over? Yeah, I think I can get one more in there. Let me rinse this off my hand here real quick. Oh, I've got some nice full beds. And y'all, my one remaining ear of corn, yep, deer got it last night. So they left a little nub, and I gave it to the chickens because I figured it had deer slobber on it. So frustrating. But you know what? Now I know I can support my I broke that one, y'all. So we do not want that. So let me scrape that out. Dadgummit. Okay, that's what you get when you try to put too much in there. I am just gonna leave it be at 3 because I've got 3 beautiful plump egg yolks. And that's one thing you'll notice when you have your own chickens. Your egg yolks are much plumper than what you get with store eggs. So again, let me wash and dry my hands here. Yeah, they're working hard. So this is what we have here. 1, 2, and 3. And got big white on that one. Don't want to put a wet spoon in. Let's get a clean one. And then you want to completely cover those yolks gently so that they're totally buried in the salt. Now you may think, oh my word, that's a waste of salt. You can actually dry the salt out in the oven and reuse it for the same purpose. So, like I said, if this turns out, and I believe that it will, I will be using this again to do more yolks. And I think I would use a little bit bigger container. The container that I wanted to use, unfortunately, has leftovers in it. So, okay, as simple as that. We'll put the lid on it, into the fridge for about 2 weeks. I will be sure and do a video on what you do next. Y'all, I saved the lid off a peanut butter jar so I would not have to use my canning lids. So let's see. We'll just change this date to 8/24. There you go. All right, we'll clean this up. We'll get on to our next bit of making it count. So the second thing I'm going to make today really isn't so much Every Bit Counts challenge, but it's something that I've been wanting to make, so I thought I'd slide it in here. And it is going to help me get through something that I have fermented. So I fermented these carrots with there's a big jalapeno in here, various homegrown spices, garlic, cloves. So this is pretty amazing for snacking. I was watching Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, and y'all know I believe in giving credit where credit's due. This is her recipe, and she was making fermented ketchup. Now, y'all, I love me some ketchup. I put ketchup on my eggs. I put ketchup on potato chips if I eat them. I love ketchup. And I've been buying the Heinz tomato ketchup, simply tomato ketchup. And here's the ingredients. Tomato concentrate from red ripe tomatoes. No, I thought you used green ones. Sorry, sarcasm. Distilled water, cane sugar, salt, onion powder, spice, natural flavoring. So it doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup. But again, no generic ketchup for me. I really like my Heinz ketchup. So when she was making the fermented ketchup, I'm like, I don't think I want my ketchup fermented, you know? I like fermented things, and it's so very good for you because of the probiotic benefits. But I was like, yeah, I'm not real sure about that for ketchup. I forgot to get my bowl. Let me grab my bowl here, y'all. When I do my big kitchen clean out and organize, I am going to stop putting things I use on the daily on the top shelf that I can barely reach. All right, so let me tip you down, and we are going to make some fermented ketchup. So what I have here is the 100% organic tomato paste that I did get from Azure, and I love the ingredients, organic tomato paste. So the other thing that's nice is these are the button top lids. Yeah, and I date everything, y'all, so I don't keep it too long. So I will be washing these lids, removing the labels, and then I can use them for some water bath canning of a jelly, or if I just have a small amount of something. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, is that not going to go down in there? Okay. Hope it's not going to be one of those days. We're going to put the 2 cans of tomato paste in. And according to Stacy, her grandkids love it. Everybody, this smells so good, y'all. Everybody that comes over and tries it just loves it, even if they're not a fan of fermented food. I personally love fermented food. I love, get in there, sauerkraut. I like fermented lemons. They're great in like a chicken meal. So there's a lot of options that you can do to get some fermented foods and some good probiotics in your diet. One of the reasons that she ferments is because they're off grid, so she's not doing canning that requires, I'll say, oh no, I didn't just do that. Hold up. Too bad it's not Halloween. I could send this picture to my kid and be like, help, I cut my foot. Yeah, can you believe I did that? All right, y'all, please excuse the sound of the washer in the background. You know how tomato paste stains. So, yeah, I had to throw a load of kitchen stuff in real quick. All right, so I have my tomato paste here, and I did notice that those are 7-ounce jars instead of the little ones. So this may be making more than what she did. So I'm going to try with the measurements she gave, but we can taste it and get some tasting spoons and then decide whether it is the right spice. So the first thing we're going to use is some ground cloves, and it calls just for 1/8 teaspoon. I love cloves. I know not everyone does, but I sure do. There's 1/8 teaspoon of cloves. We are going to use 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And she promises that if you're not a lover of spice, that it will not blow you up, but it does add a little something to the ketchup, so that's good to know. And then 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. Two teaspoons of unrefined salt. And I'm not sure what I did with it. So let me grab my salt, and then you also need some raw honey. The reason I couldn't find the salt is because I put it away. I've always been a clean as you go person, but I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. Why don't you wait until you're done using it before you put it away, Kim? So I am going to use that same pink Himalayan salt that we used. Let me try to get some that doesn't have clumps in it. Be a little more accurate of a measure. 1. 2. Okay. Y'all ever have one of those days? I think I might be having it. 1. Gonna give it a stir. One thing I can say about this organic tomato paste is I've not used it before. It is much, it's not as thick. So it's like a perfect ketchup consistency. Like, I'm loving that. All right, now for honey, I am going to use raw, unfiltered, local hive honey. And you need about 5 tablespoons. And guys, I am just gonna eyeball it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just give that a stir. We're not done yet. We need 2 tablespoons of either some kombucha that's gotten kind of vinegary tasting. That's a hard word to say. Here's a tablespoon. Or you can use liquid from your fermented vegetables. If you don't make kombucha, you can buy it in the store. It's usually in the refrigerated section. A lot of times it's with like the vegetables and fruit, oddly enough. Give that a stir. All right, and then the last ingredient is apple cider vinegar. I am going to use up some of this here. Wait for it, guys. I am going to use my organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, and you want 1/2 cup. This might just about do it for my raw vinegar. Nope, got a little bit left. We'll add that. Now, this ketchup connoisseur is going to taste it here in just a moment. Give it a good little stir. I was worried it would be a little too runny, but it's not. Wow, that smells vinegary. All right, let's give it a taste and see what it needs. Wow, guys. That is amazing. Wow. I like my ketchup a little sweeter. But you know what? Move over Heinz. I think it's actually better than Heinz. I'm shocked. I thought about adding some onion powder because that's what Heinz says it has in it, but plain tasting spoon here. Yeah, I don't mind eating plain ketchup. Y'all, that is some amazing, amazing ketchup. And I will tell you, I made ketchup from scratch and canned it, and it was really disappointing. It really doesn't taste that great. I think I've eaten 1 jar, and I think I'm on year 3, so I will probably, you know, live and learn. I should have never made as much as what I did make, but yeah, I mean, I probably have 6 pints in there. So what is the next thing we're gonna do? We're gonna put this in a pint jar. We're gonna let it sit out for 3 days. And of course, it's not all gonna fit. That would be too easy. Oh my word. But look at how beautiful our ketchup is. So we're gonna leave it sit for 3 days. I'll put a date on the top of it. then we will refrigerate it and it will last a long time with the concentration of both honey and vinegar in there. But y'all, you gotta try it. It is delicious and healthy for you too. Everything in here was like raw organic type stuff. So yeah, I'm pleased. All right, let me clean up this mess, find a jar for the rest of my ketchup, and we'll get on to our next Every Bit Counts. So this morning I was blessed with a pretty good garden harvest. Sadly, I had to pick my pumpkin because I only use neem oil as insect control or like a soapy solution, and I had bugs that were just going to annihilate my pumpkin. It will turn orange. It's very small, but I've got a couple more that are teeny weeny that I'm hoping I will get a pumpkin from. I also harvested a ton more jalapenos, a pretty good handful of green beans, which I will probably just wash and cook for my dinner today. Some cucumber, and they're very dirty, y'all. What I'm finding, these are the Boothby cucumbers. They turn orange. I don't know why. They're not supposed to. Another one of my great seed failures. Got a couple banana peppers and a whole slew of tomato. And I was going to show you these as well. Loads of, finally, my cayenne, and I'm going to make my own cayenne powder. And I also got a yellow squash and a zucchini. So I am going to put some gloves on, prep these, put them on my freeze dryer tray, load the freeze dryer, and I'll bring you back to show you what we were able to get in a freeze dryer load. I'll try to speak up over the freeze dryer. I have it cooling and ready for some beautiful tomatoes, a whole host of cayennes, which once freeze dried I will powder into cayenne powder, you know, cayenne the spice, a couple layers of zucchini chips with garlic and parsley, and a whole bunch of jalapenos with a couple banana peppers. So very, very simple. I've been cooling it down, loaded into the freeze dryer. I'll try to do this one-handed. It just slides in. Super easy. The only real restriction is you can't mix frozen and non-frozen foods. So you can do, excuse me for bobbling all over, guys. You can do a variety of vegetables. Shut and lock the door. It says closed drain valve, which I've already done here. Hit continue. And it's 44 degrees now in the freeze dryer. That's what you get from pre-freezing. If you can see, the ice ring's already starting. And it will freeze it to 20 or 30 below, maybe even colder, just kind of depends on the batch. And then it will start vacuum freezing. Before we close for the video, I wanted to say a big and warm welcome to all my new subscribers, but also a big thank you to my returning and faithful subscribers. I love hearing from you. I read every one of your comments, so don't forget to leave me a comment below, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the Every Bit Counts challenge. I just love hearing from you. I will see you all very soon. In the meantime, don't forget, smash that like button, leave me that comment, share my video. It's really helping my channel grow, y'all. I appreciate you, each and every one of you, so, so very much. So until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.